Keluarga Malaysia, you're watching updates at noon with me, Renee Fong. Making our headlines today, Malaysia to stress ASEAN axis in discussions with United States. To 40% of long COVID patients return to work. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob arrived in Washington for a 4-day working visit, including meeting with United States President Joe Biden and ASEAN leaders. The Prime Minister arrived at the Joint Base Andrews at 8:16 p.m. local time and was greeted on arrival by Acting Chief of Protocol of the United States, Azul Roberts, and U.S. Ambassador to Malaysia, Brian McFeeters. Also present were Foreign Minister Datuk Seri Saifuddin Abdullah, Senior Minister of International Trade and Industry Datuk Seri Muhammad Azmin Ali, Human Resources Minister Datuk Seri M. Saravanan. The Prime Minister will join Biden, U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris and other ASEAN leaders at the 2-day ASEAN-US Special Summit starting tomorrow. The Special Summit marks the 45th anniversary of the ASEAN-US dialogue relationship and the second Special Summit hosted by the U.S. President in this country after the then President Barack Obama welcomed ASEAN leaders in Sunnylands, California in February 2016. Malaysia will be stressing ASEAN's centrality in its relationship with the United States. And issues that will be discussed at the ASEAN-US Special Summit will be based on the perspective of member countries. Foreign Minister Datuk Seri Saifuddin Abdullah also described the special summit as interesting as it took place at the time of Joe Biden's administration introduced several reforms. Trade relations and regional security will be the focus when President Biden hosts a high-level meeting with ASEAN leaders on 12th and 13th May. It also offers a critical opportunity for Biden to chart a new direction for a more effective multilateral strategy in addressing political crisis in Myanmar.
Jadi kita lihat bahawa ada perkembangan baru di pihak Amerika Syarikat dan tentulah Malaysia dan ASEAN harus mengambil prihatin terhadap perkara-perkara tersebut dan sebab itu saya jangka Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri akan antara lain menekankan soal ASEAN centrality dari segi hubungan antara ASEAN dan Amerika Syarikat. Maknanya tak kiralah Amerika Syarikat boleh bertukar dasar, boleh bertukar pentadbiran, tetapi dan kita menghormati mereka dari segi itu, namun Malaysia seperti mana biasa kita dengan pendirian ASEAN centrality itu. Maknanya kita boleh bincang isu ekonomi, isu geopolitik, memang itu perkara yang saya jangka akan dibincangkan, tetapi kita akan melihatnya dari sudut pandang kita dan dari sudut pandang ASEAN.
This special summit also marks the 45th anniversary of the ASEAN-US dialogue relationship. ASEAN leaders are expected to bring to the meeting table, among others, on the region's interests in trade, economy and technology. The special summit is expected to issue a joint vision statement which would underscore the commitment and aspiration to enhance ASEAN-US partnership. All the 10 ASEAN leaders are scheduled to participate in the special summit except from the Philippines and Myanmar. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister will also take the opportunity to meet American captains of industries as well as US ASEAN Business Council and Chamber of Commerce.
About 30 to 40% of patients with COVID-19 long-term effects or long COVID in Malaysia return to work within 3 months of having the infection, whereas between 60 to 70% return to work within 6 months. Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin said while over 4.4 million individuals have recovered from COVID-19 since it broke out in the country more than 2 years ago, it may be the beginning of the country. The High Commission said that in the emergency situation, when curfew was imposed like now, Malaysians were advised to stay indoors.
There are currently 85 Malaysians registered with the High Commission in Colombo. There are mainly Malaysians working in Sri Lanka, plus their family members and Malaysians who are married to Sri Lankans. Most of them are staying in the capital city of Colombo. The Commission also advised them to be in constant touch with through a WhatsApp group, plus social media such as Facebook and Twitter had been set up for easy communication with Malaysians residing in Sri Lanka. Protests, which have been ongoing for days, triggered by the economic and political crisis, witnessed the worst clashes on Monday, which killed 7 people and injured more than 200 people.
The Agriculture and Food Industries Ministry, MAFI, announced that it has simplified the application procedure to expedite subsidy payments to chicken breeders. Its Minister, Datuk Seri Dr. Ronald Kianti, said the application and review procedures that were implemented at 3 levels previously were reduced to a single level, namely the state level and the approval of payment at the headquarters level.
In a statement posted on his Facebook page, he said breeders were required to submit application forms and supporting documents such as sales invoices, delivery orders for the purchase of chicks, and a copy of the contract agreement between the integrator or contract breeders to claim the subsidy within the stipulated period. MAFI have opened subsidy applications to broiler and egg-producing hen breeders until 6 June, involving the production of broilers and eggs produced from 5th February to 5th June. The current subsidy rate is 60 cents per kilogram for broilers and 5 cents per egg of all categories, involving private breeders, integrator, semi-integrator breeders and contract breeders, involving 528.52 million ringgit, which benefited 2,255 individuals. He said this in a statement after visiting a chicken processing factory in Rembau, Negeri Sembilan. The minister said MAFI is also studying the need to extend the approval period for chicken import quotas by taking into account the assessment of the country's supply needs, as the government previously allowed the import of chicken up to 10,000 tons per month, including from Thailand and China. Currently, companies had been given quota approvals for the period from December 2021 to this month, and this would be stopped once the supply of whole chickens in the country is sufficient.
Local football scene, Kedah Darul Aman KDA FC climbed up to the 3rd spot of Super League after they drew 3-3 against Petaling Jaya PJ City FC in their Super League match at the Petaling Jaya City Council Stadium last night.
In the first half of the match, Kedah scored the opening goal of the night in the 18th minute through Ronald Ngahwanja. PJ City took only 9 minutes to reply, with Darren Locke slotting in the equaliser. Ngah nevertheless returned to put Kedah in front by scoring his second goal in the 32nd minute. In the second half, Kedah continued to dominate PJ City FC when Ngah scored his 3rd goal of the night in the 64th minute. Refused to go down without a fight, P. Maniam's boys redoubled their efforts. It resulted in Mahali Jasudi scored a goal in the 75th minute to close the gap before Khairil Muhimin Zambri's goal tied things up at 3-all. In another match, Kuala Lumpur KL City FC beat Penang FC 3-2 at the Kuala Lumpur Football Stadium, Cheras. KL City took the lead through a 43rd minute goal by J. Partiban. In the second half, the hosts widened the gap through Romel Morales in the 55th minute and Zafri Yahya in the 78th minute. The visitors managed to break through KL City's net after being awarded with a penalty kick on the 80th minute, which converted delivered by Enric Dos Santos stylishly. The goal had boosted Penang FC players' morale as the visitors slotted another one goal 5 minutes later through Hilal El Hawi. However, Penang efforts to seek for equaliser did not bear any fruition. KL City FC currently occupied the 5th spot in the league, while Penang FC remained in the last spot.
We reach to the end of today's updates at noon. Our headline for today, Malaysia to stress ASEAN axis in discussions with United States during ASEAN-US Special Summit. And for the latest news, don't forget to stay tuned into News at 10 on saluran Berita RTM, or you can watch online on RTM Click's website and mobile app. I'm Renee Fong. Thank you for watching in Salam Program Malaysia. Have a pleasant afternoon.